cross country and track, and I got there at the beginning of high school. My parents always ran, and they tried to convince me throughout all of junior high to run, but I was a swimmer then. I had swam for 10 years, and running didn't really interest me at all. And so I started running in 8th grade. It was my first cross-country season, and I did really well. And so the high school coach, because 9th grade isn't incorporated in the high school system in Idaho, I ran up with the high school team in 9th grade and was really successful, and that's when it began. I'd have to say it starts out with just making sure that you do the necessary things to know that you're gonna both physically and mentally be prepared for the race, such as sleeping, eating. You need to make sure that, especially with running, that you get a good amount of sleep 2 nights before, not just the night before, and then that you're eating well consistently that week before, because all of those little things can throw you off. And so if you know that you've done those things, you can go into the race knowing that you've mentally and physically prepared. And also, I tend to really like listening to music, so I'll turn the music up as loud as possible to drown out any type of sound, anything before, because the best thing for me to do is just relax, because I tend to get really nervous. The mental change as far as on and off goes, I didn't feel that there was much of one. When you have practice, 4 hours a day, every day, it's necessary to be mentally there all the time. And so I'd say the only difference is that before a race, I tend to get really nervous. So that would probably be the only difference. I handled the physical and mental training by just trying to keep the best balance I possibly could. It's a lot more difficult than people think to have a social life as well as do well in school and be an athlete. I feel like it's a common misconception that non-athletes tend to think that we have it pretty easy and we don't take a full load of credits or anything, but I take 16 credits, and it's really difficult to keep that up while doing all of those things that are necessary to stay healthy as an athlete. Like, not only do we have practice time, but I've been injured, throughout most of my college career, and there's time where you have to go into the training room, set aside from practice 3 times a day, heat, ice, heat again, do all the exercises that are necessary. So not only is it a 4-hour practice time, it can be, up to 6 hours of your day spending just devoted to running. And then when you're training and you're in season, which track is a little bit different than other sports, we are in season all year round because we have cross country, indoor and outdoor. So there's not much time to devote to just doing things with your friends. You make the transition from an athlete to a student just by trying to prepare yourself the best. It's one and the same a little bit because you're a student athlete full-time, but to do so, it just takes a lot of time management. I actually am a lot more productive with running and being an athlete because your schedule is set out pretty much throughout the entire day. You have a time limit for everything. So, there's a time to run, there's a time, to do your homework, and then there's a time to do other things. So you don't have much wiggle room as far as what you can do or choose not to do. So you have to be really diligent about, I need to get this done at this time. And being an athlete, we do have study hall and things like that, which is really helpful in aiding with getting those things done. I've had a lot of injuries that have affected me mentally, competing as a Division I athlete. I have had numerous injuries. I've had a stress fracture in my hip. I've had Baker's cyst in my knee. I've had SI problems and hamstring problems. And recently, I just tore my MCL this past summer. And all of these things have taken me out of running for different varieties of amount of time, whether that's a month, an entire season. I've even had an entire year where I haven't been able to run, and all of those things make it extremely difficult to get back and try again. I originally went to Utah State and was not going to run when I came to Oregon State because I was so mentally done with this sport and being injured, and felt that there is no way that I could get back to where I needed to be because I wasn't even, at the level where I was in high school after having so many injuries, which was really, really hard, especially having done so well in high school. You have dreams of where you would like to be in college, and when you can't make them, it's really devastating. And when I tore my MCL this past year, I kind of hit rock bottom. That's how I felt, is that there just was no coming back from this. And it's hard to go throughout your day feeling that way.
Well, I started playing football 5th grade up until my sophomore year at Boise State. I played Pee Wee football from 5th and 6th. Then I played for middle schools, 7th, 8th. Then high school ball, all the way, obviously 9th through 12th. And then walked on at Boise State my freshman year and made the team. Played until, I played the rest of the freshman year, my sophomore year, and a little bit of my junior year until I got hurt. Ended up tearing my meniscus, and they said, see you later. And yeah. Mentally to prepare myself for a game day. Started with about 9 o'clock wake up, it's a hearty breakfast. Then the earplugs go in, listen to music all day, just focus on game, focus on my responsibilities and stuff that fall by the team we're playing. And then about 3 o'clock rolls around, it's usually a couple hours before the game. I start warming up, stretching, run around the field in just gym shorts. Go in, usually 30-minute power nap, suit up, run around again, get even more stretched out. Constantly listen to music. It's like I'm wired in, don't want to talk to the world. And then go back to the locker room, sit there quietly, and it's game time, baby. It's time to do the thing. Mentally de-stress myself. I don't know, you cool down, win or lose, I just go in the locker room and chill, kind of take in what just happened, and then unsuit, relaxing, just slow. And then I usually just go home and think about the game, and just it calms me down. And then, if you lost, obviously it takes you off a little bit, so you're really up here, and you need to come down a lot more. So it's talking to people also, talking to my family, calling them up, explaining what happened, talking to friends, talking about what happened. Just brings you down, and then you just kind of forget it, you gotta move on. Come in next day, prepare, ready for week 2, week 3, next week. Just kind of gotta let it go. The training mentally, the mental aspect of training and getting ready for the season, summertime, kicks your butt. You have to be really focused. And, there's days, doubles, triples, you come work out, break, come work out, and you're drained and you don't want to work out anymore. You got to be mentally focused and prepared, ready to go. You want to constantly bring your game up to peak performance. So you mentally have to be, there and willing to do what you're doing. The transition from a full-time athlete to a full-time student wasn't very hard. You kind of transfer the same traits on the field. I'm really dedicated. You work hard. You put forth a lot of effort. And those similar traits transfer over to being a student. In the classroom, you focus. You work hard. You get your work done. That way you are able to go out and have fun on the field and run around and hit people. And, get your studies done first. So, you have to mentally prepare the classroom as much as you have to mentally prepare on the field. You gotta get your studies done before you can prepare for your game. Well, I've had one, out of my entire career, one injury, and it completely knocked me out. As stated, I tore my meniscus. I was running around one day, totally goofing off, which probably shouldn't have been doing, and I happened to plant my foot and stuck and my knee gave out, tore my meniscus, sprained all my ligaments. And mentally that's really tough, especially being a walk-on like I was. You know, you work so hard to make it and realize that this injury was serious enough to completely kind of end my career. And so mentally it was really tough. I was really depressed for a really long time. I just kind of stopped working out, stopped doing a lot of things that I do now. You know, it took a long time to get back into the kind of shape I am now because I got down, so down. Obviously I transferred to Oregon State, kind of wanted to get away from it because it was such a big deal. My mom, my family thought it was a good idea for me to transfer because I was so down and so far away from home that I wasn't mentally like able to go to class, stuff like that. It really messed with me. And then you come here and you meet, you know, new friends, new people that kind of build you back up, and you know, you learn to get over it. I've gotten over it, you know, but yeah, mentally, that one injury basically ended my career, so it was really tough.